Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. This is the best daily sports betting show on the planet. And, well, we've got NFL football. It starts tonight. Kansas City hosting Baltimore. The line is -3. The total around 46. And Marco D'Angelo's coming on to take that game apart in great detail. He's also going to look at the Tennessee-Chicago game. Tennessee +4, Chicago, new QB and already a home favorite. We'll see if that's the right bet or not. Dave Sharapan making his long-anticipated comeback to the show. He'll be on after that. We're going to take apart all of college and NFL, where the wise guys are betting, where the public is betting, what his thoughts are for this coming week. And we're going to end the show with Dave Mason, a bookmaker from BetOnline. Teddy's got his big game breakdown. What is it, Theodore?
Big game breakdown. Today we're going to talk about the Falcons and the Steelers. Early start action on Sunday. And, of course, in my What Bettors Learned, we're going to talk about survivor strategies. Basic strategy for a survivor contest. So stay tuned for that. Should be informative for those of you in survivor. So, I know there's lots of you that are doing that this year.
Yeah, and I'm so happy we're going to discuss that because one of our listeners yesterday said, Prez, will you be giving out your survivor picks? Yeah, I'm going to do it on that segment. I'm also going to ask you your advice. At the end of the show, we'll have the daily presidential address. I will have 2 total bets for you in the NFL. Make sure to get us 100 likes. 2 total bets in the NFL. Teddy, I want to skip Marco and go straight to what did Bettors learn, but he's the co-founder of WagerTalk and a partner of mine. So, Marco, welcome to the show, my brother.
How are you guys doing this morning? Always a pleasure to join you two.
Marco, I'm curious what you thought of my intro. Guys, put up there, rate my intro out of 10. I thought today it was pretty good. I think I got an 8.2. Teddy?
So you're getting better. We want to do the intros quick. We got to be, quick intro. Let them know what's coming, and then Mark goes
7.8.
Today you did it. Yeah. So no, you did better today than yesterday in that regard.
Okay, Marco.
Well, everything you gained on the crispness and getting it out there, we just wasted on you patting yourself on the back. So
I didn't pat myself on the back. Johnny says we need engagement in the chat room. We need engagement. So now I'm asking everyone to rate my intro. That's engagement. Okay. Marco, I did the NFL presidential address, 10,000 views. Thank you, everybody, for watching it. All the great comments. So much freaking love. But I gave out Baltimore +3. And I got a little bit of slack from some people. My reasoning really was that I think this is a statement game for Baltimore. And although Kansas City needs this game too for home field advantage potentially, I just feel like Baltimore is going to be like sky high and just dying to play this game. Where are you going here?
Well, you hear me say it on the show all the time that revenge is the most overused term in sports betting, but there are certain instances that I do put extra weight to that angle. And one of them obviously is playoff revenge. You're never going to forget who ended your season. And it was the Kansas City Chiefs that ended Baltimore's season. Baltimore, everybody thought was going to the Super Bowl last year. They rolled through the regular season. Lamar Jackson had an MVP season. Everything was looking good. They have one of the best coaches in the league, John Harbaugh. I generally do not complain about Harbaugh, but boy, I did complain in his game plan and what he did during the game in that AFC Championship game last year. I don't understand how you run the football 16 times for 81 yards. That's over 5 yards a carry, and you abandon the run. I don't understand it. And what ended up happening by them abandoning the run is Kansas City was able to dominate the time of possession. Kansas City had a 37.5 to 22.5 edge in time of possession in that game. They ran, I think, 18 more plays than Baltimore did. Yet Baltimore had a slight edge in yardage, only lost 17-10. I think you're going to see Baltimore going to play the revenge angle. The only thing that I will put one asterisk on it, is Kansas City is in the exact same situation that they were last year. They came in fat and sassy after the Super Bowl season, opened up the Thursday night game as the Super Bowl winner generally does, and they lost on their home field last year to the Detroit Lions. Now, we know the Lions ended up having a banner season last year, so the fact that they did lose last year, I don't think they'll have that fat and sassy attitude. They'll take Baltimore much more seriously. Plus, this is an AFC conference game where Detroit was an NFC game. This could determine home field advantage, but I think Baltimore gets the job done. And I can't ignore the stat on Lamar Jackson. For all of the bad rap he gets for playoffs, not being able to win the big game, when it's the regular season and he has been installed as an underdog or pick 'em, he has gone 11-4 straight up in his career. And that 11-4 straight up has converted to 13-1-1 against the spread. I'm going to ride Baltimore tonight. I think they get the job done. This should be a fun game. My personal projection is 27-23. So if you want to go ahead and do the math and add that up, tells you I'm leaning to the over as well.
So Andy Reid and Kansas City lost as home favorites on opening day last year, as you talked about, to Detroit. Prior to that 1-point loss, however, Reid and the Chiefs had won each of their 8 previous openers, and they won them all by more than a field goal, which is the point spread here. Does Andy Reid's week 1 track record concern you, given you like the Baltimore side in this one? And I'm looking at the WagerTalk free live odds screen right now. The threes just got mostly taken out. It's 2.5 right now as a prevailing number. Do you still like Baltimore at 2.5 as opposed to 3?
I still like Baltimore at 2.5, and at 2.5, you know what else comes into play with Baltimore? You can get that old 6-point long teaser working for you and take them up and over the touchdown would be a good play too. And I can't argue with you about Andy Reid, Teddy, but if you go back, and I don't have the number in front of me, John Harbaugh has been pretty good in season openers as well. And we know how he's done in the preseason. Now, that trend has changed the last few years as far as him being dominant in the preseason, but he has his teams prepared and ready to go in week 1.
Margaret D'Angelo joining us, everyone. You're watching Wager Talk today. Take a second, guys. Hit that like button. It's a thumbs up. The Fawns. If you guys follow me on Twitter, Prez Wager Talk, you'll see I idolized the Fawns growing up. But you could tell anyway because I'm so damn cool. That's twice, Marco. That's twice. Brother, this game fascinates me. We got Chicago at home, rookie quarterback, a team that has won, well, nothing in a long, long time. And they are -4. I don't think they've earned that opportunity yet. This line baffles me. But with that said, and in the NFL presidential address, I ended up passing on this game simply because I want to see how these teams define themselves. If I had to bet it, I would take Tennessee. I'm curious where you're going.
Well, in week 1, you're doing a lot of speculation, especially in a situation where you've got a team starting a new quarterback like Caleb Williams. And obviously he comes with all of the fanfare of being the number 1 overall draft pick. He's the second coming of the Messiah, one of those, they like to say, the generational talents. Well, I want to see it first. And I know that the learning curve for rookie quarterbacks in the NFL has been a lot quicker than in past years. And Teddy and I, you, Prez, we've been doing this for a long, long time. For me, it's 4.5 decades. And you never used to see a rookie quarterback on the football field, till at least year 2. But that has changed because of money. You got to take advantage of these rookie contracts where they're friendly for the team, in those first few years. So enter Caleb Williams. Now he's laying points. Not only are you asking a rookie quarterback to win, you're asking him to win and win by a margin. And if you talk about, and I'll steal this from Teddy, you want to buy low and sell high. Where's the market at with these two teams? Chicago's got all of the hype because of the quarterback. Tennessee, what's the perception of them, the public perception? Well, they just missed the playoffs last year. They fired their longtime coach, Mike Vrabel. They got rid of the face of the franchise. No, I'm not talking about Ryan Tannehill. I'm talking about Derrick Henry. And so you got a team that looks like is in a rebuild mode, and nobody's really giving them any thought or consideration. And we're looking at a number of 4. I think this is an inflated number. There's no way, in my opinion, that Chicago, a team that hasn't won for a long time, is being asked to win and win by a margin. I don't think this line should be over a field goal. I'm going to take the value. I'm going to take Tennessee. And when you talk about these rookie quarterbacks, especially the number 1, if you were drafted number 1 overall and you are starting in week 1, going back to 2003, these quarterbacks have gone 0-8-1 straight up in their debut. I can't do it. Maybe he'll be the one that breaks the mold. And I think people give these starting quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, a pass because every once in a while you get a quarterback like C.J. Stroud last year that defied all the odds, but he was the number 2 pick last year. Maybe he had a little chip on his shoulder. I'm going to go against Chicago. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Give me Tennessee +4. I'll take the dog here in week 1.
Let me ask you this, Marco. What's your thoughts on first-year, first-time head coaches in their first game? This is Brian Callahan for Tennessee. He's a first-year, first-time coach. He's playing his first game on the road. I know there are cappers that are a little bit reluctant to back those first-year, first-time coaches early in the season. Clearly, you're not one of them. Talk to me about your thoughts.
All right. Well, there's 2 things to look at, and it is a good point, Teddy. The advantage that a first-time coach has is you really don't know what their tendencies are. Okay, so that makes it a little bit tougher for the opposing team to devise their game plan because you don't have any film. What you saw in the preseason is not what you're going to see during the regular season. Now, with Brian Callahan, there's a little caveat with him. He's got dad. And he's got dad on his staff. So you do have coaching experience in Bill Callahan that's going to be able to help his son along with maybe some of those questions or things that, a new coach has to experience on his own. His dad already has. And one thing that Bill Callahan will help with this team, the offensive line is going to be much better this year with him on that roster. So it is a good point. But we got a little asterisk with this particular first-year head coach.
Marco D'Angelo, my brother, what do you have to promote?
Well, normally I'd be telling you about one big play or whatever. I'm going to tell you about all my plays. We've got a deal running at WagerTalk, and it's good not only for me, but hey, I would highly suggest purchasing me, purchasing Teddy, Prez, anybody at WagerTalk. 3-day, all access, $49. Guys, you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's a great grouping. Wait till Friday. Get Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get it all. $49 every play from your favorite capper. And guys, that's not just football. It's football. It's baseball. It is college football. And if you're somebody that does WNBA or soccer, you're getting that as well. MMA, anything your favorite capper releases over that 3-day period, you get it for $49. Take advantage of it for opening week.
Yeah, and guys, little secret. I've told you this before on air. Buy it twice. If you do, it stacks up. It's a little glitch in our system, which we've not fixed. So if you go buy it 10 times, it'll actually stack up 10 times. So buy it today, get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Buy it again today, get Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Marco D'Angelo, outstanding stuff. And guys, remember, I got a huge card for football, NFL football. I got a play going tonight. I got a 5% on Sunday, a 4% on Sunday. I got 6 bets altogether. Super pumped about this NFL card. But I'm also I have anxiety already over Survivor. It hasn't even started, and I have anxiety, Teddy. So I'm going to hear you out. I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'm going to jump in, and I'm also going to tell you what I'm taking because I'm in the Circa Survivor contest. The mic is yours, my friend.
Sure. My friend Gil Alexander was talking about it on his show yesterday. I heard it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good thing to talk about today. And he made some excellent points. So I'm going to give my take on basic strategy for Survivor contest. I have 4 points to make. First, to open the season, September, conservative time. You're going to play the bigger favorites on the board every week. Don't worry about what anyone else is betting. Choose one of the bigger favorites. And the money lines, of course, will tell you who should win and how often they're supposed to win. Translate the money line and a percentage of victory, all that. But conservative to open the season because by mid-October, 75% of the field is going to be gone already. And then it's time to kind of pivot to talking about winning strategies instead of survival strategies. You're not trying to survive. You're trying to win once you get through, 2/3, 3/4 of the field, which will be the case by mid-October at the latest. So at that point, you want to kind of map out the remaining weeks of the season. Give yourself options, give yourself a game plan, and you probably want to take a little bit more risks. Know who the popular sides are going to be that week and look for another game. Note the weird weeks. Like in Circa, you have Thanksgiving and Christmas, both counting as their own week, 3 games for each. All right. You got to keep as many of those 6 teams alive as possible. Not like you can't use 1 or 2 or even 3 or 4 if you have to. But the fewer you use, the more options you have later in the season. You really want to keep those teams open. So be aware of those weird weeks and any quirks that your contest, if you're in a different contest, will require some advanced planning. And last but not least, this is an important point. Size matters. If you're in a huge contest, you're in the Circa Millions or the Circa Survivor, you need to take more risks, have more advanced planning. Smaller contests, you're in your work buddies, you're in dozens or hundreds, not thousands. You generally want to stick with bigger favorites, play more conservative because you don't need to take the risks as long as you can. So that's my thoughts on basic strategy for Survivor. In terms of who I would pick this week, for me, it's one choice and one choice only. Be Cincinnati. End of argument. Lawrence?
Teddy covers. Cincinnati is exactly who I'm taking. And I think you laid it out so beautifully. Guys, I'm going to reiterate what Teddy is saying. And I'm speaking kind of specifically for the Circa because it's just got so many people in it. I think Seattle is going to be a very sexy pick this week. I think the guys that outsmart themselves are going to be on New Orleans. They're going to look at this thing and they're going to say, well, we got to save Cincinnati for later on. We got to save Buffalo. They're going to play Puff Cakes later. We're going to need them. Let's try get New Orleans through. Let's try get Seattle through. Losing strategy. I tried that last year, Teddy. I was out week 1.
I remember.
The number one thing about these large survivors in the month of September is exactly what Teddy said. Just get through the week. And on top of it, we don't know what's coming. You could sit here and say, hey, New Orleans is a great pick. They're playing Carolina. Carolina sucks. Seattle's a great pick. They're playing Denver. They're at home. They suck. Guess what? Seattle and New Orleans might be world beaters by November. For all we know, a lot is going to change. Nobody expected Houston to be a world beater last year. So you would have had Houston in your back pocket come into November, December, a team that you never would have picked at the beginning of the season. Take the biggest favorites right now and let the season shape itself. And the teams that you don't expect to be good, like maybe Indianapolis or the Raiders, maybe they become really good moving forward. I love your take, Teddy. Outstanding stuff. I will be on Cincinnati. Dan Alexander, do we have a Dave Sharapan sighting yet? Yes! Oh my God!
That would be yes.
Oh my God, Dave freaking Sharapan. I missed you, my brother. I missed you. Nice Len Dykstra hat. Excellent stuff. Who would you take in Survivor this week?
First of all, great to see you. It's not Tuesday. I don't know if we're going to dub this Flex Thursday because I don't know what I'm doing next week, period. It's great to see both of you. Theodore's just keeps staring straight ahead while Prez is just waxing poetic about who the hell knows what.
I don't
The
even
obvious pick is in Survivor is Cincinnati this week. And a lot of people will go, oh, I don't want Cincinnati because everyone's going to be on Cincinnati. Excuse me. If you don't take Cincinnati and you end up taking the Bears and the Bears lose week 1 and Cincy wins, you're going to be sick. I don't know how many other games I feel strongly about just teams winning. This is a hard week 1, fellas, in the NFL. So, I don't know. Cincinnati, Seattle, Buffalo, are those, do you feel strongly about those? I don't know.
I do,
What?
but not as strong as Cincinnati.
Right. Yeah.
Teddy,
Cincy's
let's
the
get
play.
into Teddy. Dave Sharapan finally with us. We had to pay him. I think, what did we send you? Like $50,000 for today's performance?
No, I still listen. I'm still waiting for the first one. So no, I didn't get it yet. All right.
Okay.
Did you move? You have a new background. Did you get a new apartment, condo? What is that?
It's a green screen, you schmo.
Go the green screen.
Teddy, get some actionable info out of this man.
Yeah, this is real behind me, but Prez got a
I
green
know.
screen.
I
behind
saw
him.
that one in person.
Yeah, that's
Theodore.
really real
That's
behind
real.
you. You really
That's
have
real. Sitting in a book.
a line board in your basement.
Listen, I didn't
I'm
come
not in
here
my
on
basement.
the first Thursday of September for drama. I don't want any drama. Wow, Prez, you're looking good. Flex it out, brother. My God. Theodore, what do you got?
So you're wearing a Phillies hat. We're not going to talk any baseball today. Let's talk a minute
Nope.
of baseball right here.
Absolutely
No,
not.
got to. Phillies. Is that the play today? Anything? What's going on in baseball?
Yeah, they're playing the Marlins, and it's interesting because it's a gigantic road favorite, and a lot of people will just pass on that, and they'll go, "Man, I don't want the Phillies today. I can't do it. I can't lay it." Blah 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 blah. Marlins are just terrible. So yes, I mean the industry term is a parlay piece for people that like the parlays. Particularly, not sure about that, but yes, Phillies today. That's it. Baseball done. We got pennant races heating up. We have all the information. Baseball betting in September. Some of the sharpest guys I've ever met and know eat September for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Baseball betting. Bet dogs. There's bad teams that are just overvalued, and that's my baseball betting thing. If anyone wants to text me or DM me at SportsBK and say who's going to win the National League, I'd really appreciate that because I think it's going to be a fun watch down the stretch. The NL West is awesome. The Phillies are awesome. The Brewers, probably a fake favorite in a lot of situations, and the Mets are coming. That's it. National League, done. Go.
Are you done with baseball now? You already went, you're like, let's get
I
through
did
it.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes. That's it. Done.
You promised one. So
I
let's
went
talk
over.
some college football before we get into NFL.
Yes.
2 TV games on Friday night, BYU, SMU, Duke, Northwestern. You hear anything about either one of those around
Nope.
town here in Vegas this week?
Zero. Everything's about the NFL today. Friday gets passed, and those 2 games are kind of overlooked. I got the Saturday card here with a couple games, circled if you want to touch on Saturday. I haven't heard squadouche, nothing, caca about Friday night college football.
Well, obviously, the Texas-Michigan, one of the marquee matchups on Saturday. What other games you hearing about? And obviously, lots of Texas. Are we going to see any buyback on Michigan? It's 7. Texas got bet all the way up to 7.5 at a lot of books. Is money going to come for the Wolverines?
Boys, yeah, 8. 8. And if anybody goes to 8 and really needs to get off the game, meaning get a bet on the dog, they're going to go to 8.5. But that thing, there's visions of grandeur that the game's going to go to 9 or 9.5. And I'm like, guys, you waiting for Michigan at 9 or 9.5. It's like there's an old book that probably only me and you know, because I'm not sure that Prez is probably a thespian and read things, but waiting for Godot. You're waiting for Godot. You're going to be waiting for a long time.
What a boring book, dude. I mean,
Terrible.
wow.
Yeah,
Two guys sitting on a bench yapping. Sounds like Teddy. It sounds like WagerTalk Today sometimes.
It could be. It actually could. That's a good analogy. So Texas
Beckett,
and Michigan.
Beckett, right? Samuel
Wow.
J. Beckett.
Enough with the yip, Lawrence. Yeah, well done.
I can't believe that you did. Did you just Google that? That was good.
He read it.
I did not Google that. Teddy doesn't care. Enough with your yapping, Prez. Okay, Dave.
We got actual info coming from Las Vegas odds maker Dave Sharapan that our audience is interested in a little bit more than who wrote Waiting for Godot. What else are you hearing in college football this week?
Georgia Tech and Syracuse. Okay. Little steam on Georgia Tech, Syracuse, home dog. Keep that one circled. Let's see here. Arkansas.
So we heard an opinion yesterday that the sharp side of that game was Syracuse.
Yes.
Is that what you're hearing as well?
That's the one. Yes. They're gonna, if they haven't already, they're waiting, but they're gonna take the 3. That's the side to need. Just, one of the guys I know said that one. Dog in Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Take the dog. Over 7. So 7.5, 8 still around. Keep that one on the docket. And then let me see. What do you guys think about Colorado, Nebraska? That one, good number. That's the late game in the late window on Saturday. Game number, let me see, 381, 382 for those old heads that still use game numbers like us. People don't use the game numbers anymore on the apps, and they should, because it's an easy way to find the games. But I don't know, boys. That one feels like a favorite play to me. Not really overly impressed with Colorado defensively. That one also feels like an over.
I like the over. I like the over in that game too, Dave. Nebraska minus 7.5. Sorry, Teddy.
No, I'm going to say I don't know if I'm comfortable laying more than a touchdown with Nebraska yet.
So that's what I was just about to say. Nebraska minus 7.5. They haven't earned a 7.5 yet, and we know Colorado's going to get some points here. And I agree with you on Colorado's defense. So we're all on the same page there on the over. What else, Teddy? Keep going.
NFL.
You're doing good. NFL.
Right. Anything else in college you want to talk about? Or you want to talk
with
NFL?
Tonight's game? Dave Sharapan, tonight's game, we got clearly of money coming in on Baltimore as it's dropped from 3 to 2.5 at most places. Do you expect a buyback on Kansas City? What are you hearing, and what do you like?
Well, it was one of those nights last night. I was down at Circa with some people that were in town, and they were buzzing a bit about the game. And, a friend of the show, Kevin, Supervisor Kevin, I like to call him, star of that, Survivor series. He's watching the show live right now. Kevin, when I come down there, make sure the envelope's right. I'm just kidding. The money already came on the Ravens. They know the money's coming on the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to go back to 3. Okay. I don't know who the rhombuses are, who the parallelograms are, the sharp money, the square money, the pros, the Joes. I mean, if we can get them all out right now, then we can refer to them all season. That would be great. I'm leaning KC. I don't really love the side. Sometimes you see a number and you just go, you know what? I don't know. And I do that a lot in the NFL, especially in the first week. Like the Friday game is the neutral site game. Green Bay and Philadelphia are playing in Brazil. And I don't feel strongly about a side because I don't even know how they got there, how long they've been there, have they practiced there. They're not even allowed to wear green uniforms. There's all kind of things. I'm going to have a guy on our show on Friday from Brazil, I hope, to give us a little insight into that. But tonight, boys, who have you found anyone that likes the under? That's one of those ones where I'm like, wow, this can't be this easy, where they're just going to up and down. They're going to go down the field. And the last team with the ball
why
last
up
wins.
And down? It's literally the number 1 and 2 defense from last year playing against each other. It can't be that
That's what
easy.
I said. I think you're right. I'm like,
Primetime games
Teddy.
went 70% under last year. You think we're going to see
Yeah.
over money here?
I'm not.
Feels like a very public play. The over
Well,
feels like a very,
Don't
very
all the
public play.
overs feel that way, Dave? We
Well,
got to
this
keep the
one,
show.
yeah.
Don't we got to
I'm
keep
out.
the show moving along? No, you're not out. Sunday. What do you
Oh.
like?
What are you
Oh,
hearing?
Sunday. Hold on. Let's see. Tennessee against the Bears. Play on Tennessee. The Vikings have already been played against the Giants. That was already steamed up. The Panthers plus the points against the Saints. And I don't know what this – I don't understand the Broncos and the Seahawks. I really like the points with that one personally. Rams-Lions, dog. They're going to need the dog huge. It's going to be the book's biggest need of the weekend, the entire weekend. That Sunday night game, first 1 to 4 loses. That's because they're going to get the complete buyback. They're all sitting teetering on that one.
Based on line moves, I think ultimately they're going to need the Jets the most, but that is not part of the weekend.
Right? Yeah, Sunday. You did say Sunday, right? Like my earpiece is still working.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's exactly what he
like
said.
Sunday.
And then he cut you off and you were giving info. Finish up, Dave.
Teddy's
What's going on?
such a pleasure.
Dude.
I miss you, boys. This has been great. Keep the show moving. Wow. Sideway flicks on the way out. Holy crap. That's
Dave, what do you got to
What do you have
promote?
to promote, Dave?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah,
Every day,
Dave.
Monday through Friday. Every day, Monday through Friday, Bostonian versus the Book is on YouTube, Twitter, @ Boston versus the Book. Every day, Monday through Friday, Sports Grid and Sirius XM Radio 159, Sports Grid TV, all that stuff from 5 o'clock Pacific to 7 o'clock Pacific. It's now called In-Game Live Game Day, I think it is. And then I just inked a deal for the second year in a row. I'm going to be on the Jerome Bettis show in Pittsburgh every single week.
Send my love.
I will send Jerome your love. Hopefully, we're going to get out there to Pittsburgh and do some stuff together. That's fun and exciting for football. And then in the back pocket, we still got cash considerations where me and the guy you know very well, Dan Alexander, we call him Newbie Talks on the Twitter.
Yep.
Him and I are going to get together and do some just fun stuff. That's it. I'm out.
Dude, this is a book. This is a book of promo. Tell Jerome we'd love to have him on the show, okay? Dave?
Bye.
Thank you. We love having you. Thank you, Dave. Teddy covers. We still got lots more to do. Your big game breakdown, Dave Mason from BetOnline, and I've got 2 NFL totals to give out. Go.
Let's talk about the Falcons and the Steelers. Right now, look at the WagerTalk Live odds screen. We're seeing mostly 3s for Atlanta. There are some 3.5 starting to pop. Total in that game sitting at 42, pretty much across the board. And this is a Falcons team. Look, they were underachievers from start to finish last year. They had multiple problems, but the biggest ones, poor quarterback play and an inability to win tight games. They just went 1-5 down the stretch in games decided by less than a touchdown. So they just couldn't get the last score or the last stop. And some of that is QB, some of that is coach. Now, what do you do when you have a team that has talent but had all those kinds of problems? You bring in a new coach and a new quarterback. Raheem Morris, Kirk Cousins. And there's ample reason to expect Atlanta to be a team that takes a big step forward in 2024. Remember, they've gone 7-10 each of the last 3 years. Looks to me like the arrow is pointed up for Atlanta. Let's talk about Pittsburgh in just a sec. First, I do want to mention that 3-day all-access pass at WagerTalk, just $49. I've gone 28-8 in Week 1 NFL over the last 9 years. Consistent winning results. You get 3-day all-access, just $49. Visit the page, wt.buzz/TC. And you can stack them together and start tonight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then get Sunday and Monday as well. So check that out. Again, wagertalk.com, wt.buzz/TC. When we talk about the Steelers coming into this season, there are a fair few questions for a team that hasn't been very good in recent years. You got Denver and Seattle have already given up on Russell Wilson. Not a long time ago, Denver gave up on him. Seattle gave up on him. That's the last 2 years. Is Pittsburgh next? I wouldn't be surprised. Their offensive line, very young. I expect some growing pains against a decent defensive front. Receiving core, it's Pickens and question marks. It's not like they're loaded with quality receivers. And in general, I think the Steelers' arrow, it's either neutral or down. This team's not primed to take a step up. So week one basic strategy, for me, I like to take teams headed in opposite directions. And the Falcons are going up. The Steelers, not so much. Yeah, Atlanta, minus the points, is the only way I can look in this one. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, I've been telling everybody for how long, you in week one of NFL, you in September of NFL. I mean, these are Mount Rushmore type picks from my perspective. Keep it going, my brother. Dave Mason joining us. Dave Mason from BetOnline. Welcome to the show, my friend. No Dave Mason.
Nope.
Daniel?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
You hear me?
Yes,
hear me?
sir.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good.
Dave, we've got some action coming in on Baltimore. Line down to 2.5. You think we'll get a 3?
Man.
What do you like in this game?
Well, it was 2.5 now. Sharps just hit that, man. They just put Sharp on Ravens +3. That's what knocked it down to 2.5. The overall action is pretty close to 50-50. So we'll see. I mean, I myself at -2.5. I like the Chiefs. I think that should be 3 without a doubt. So I'm a little confused by it, but we respect that sharp action here at BetOnline. That's why we moved from 3 to 2.5.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have a game that's 50-50 action, or do you like the games where everyone's on one side and you guys have a chance to make a bunch or lose a bunch? What's your, as a bookmaking strategy, which one do you prefer?
It all depends on the number, man. if we got the better of it and that 80% of the cash is all public and 20% is, or a part of the 20% is sharp, well, we like our chances there, right? However, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes, 80% of that money is both public and sharp, and then those games we're not digging it. So it all depends on the number. I mean, the 50-50 stuff is kind of, I kind of like when it's lopsided, man. It makes things more interesting and let our guys do their thing, moving the odds, and then they know what the hell they're doing, moving up the sharp action and getting buyback and all that. So the lopsided stuff definitely makes things more interesting, but it all depends on, who's on those lopsided games.
Talking with Dave Mason, betonline.ag, a pretty sharp guy when it comes to knowing the global betting marketplace. And Dave, we talked a little bit about tonight's game. Let's talk about the Friday night game in the NFL. Philadelphia and Green Bay in Brazil. Does the fact that it's in Brazil affect anything, either from the handicap or the action for this game? And what kind of money are you seeing for the Friday night affair?
I mean, it affected the spread, right? This is quote unquote a home game for the Birds, but now it's what is it, -2? If that's Philly, it's what -3, -120 or so, perhaps 3.5. So it impacts the spread, right? But it does from a handicapping point of view. Who in the hell knows? We got to, like I said, the Eagles -2, 49.5, open -3. The bettors, we need the Packers big right now. 62% of bets, 65% of cash on Philly. We did take a little bit of sharp on the Packers at +2.5 and over 48.5.
Dave, we're having mediocre connection issues with you today, so I'm going to try to keep it relatively quick. But I do want to ask you about Sunday's games. What are you seeing? What kind of liability do you have? Who will you be rooting for in NFL on Sunday?
All right. I don't know what's going on with my connection today. So we got some big liabilities. I mean, we need the Pittsburgh big. I heard Sharapan break that down, and you break that down. Actually, you put that down. Sorry about it. And I think you're dead on right there. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense could be dismal. Falcons are trending up. So that's a big that's going to be without a doubt a big liability. Bengals. Everybody's on the Bengals, fading the Pats. That's going to be a massive, massive teaser game. That's going to be the biggest teaser meet of the day as everybody teases the Bengals down. Some sharp stuff. We're talking the Fish, Miami, -3 and under 50.5. Falcons -3, -110. That's now -122. Vikings a pick. And that's sharp over 40 in the Panthers Saints game. Sharp. Bills -6. That's sharp. Texans -2.5, -113. That's now -121. A little bit on the Las Vegas Raiders at +4.5. On and on and on. What I like Cleveland. I took them plus a point early. They're now favored by 2.5. Nothing sharp on that action, including me. The Seahawks -5. That's sharp. We'll have a big liability Sunday night on Detroit. About 61% of the early action is on the Lions versus the Rams, and then Monday night's going to be a big one too. Right now, the action is not too lopsided. About 54% of the cash is on the Niners, but that'll grow by Monday night. Sharp on over 43 in that one.
I'm sorry, say that one more time on Monday night. You think the money will come for San Francisco in that game or the Jets?
Yeah, I think San Francisco right now it's 54, 55, about 55% of the cash is on the 49ers. Sharp is on over 40, on over 43, but I think game day cash will definitely come in on the Niners.
Strong info from Dave Mason. Before we let you go, Dave, real quick, I do want to ask you, I know you were tweeting last night, there's been a shift in the presidential odds again, and I like talking about it every week. Our audience is interested in it every week. What are we seeing in terms of Trump versus Harris presidential odds and how they're shifting?
Yeah, it was a pick 'em for a while, but now it's Trump is -120, a slight favorite. It just keeps, bouncing back and forth, right? Kamala is the small favorite, then he pick 'em, now Trump's the small favorite, so it just keeps bouncing back and forth. Since her interview, the majority of the action that's come in has been Trump. So, the big bets have kind of slowed down. We haven't seen any really 5-figure bets. And, we raised our limits to $50,000, and we're still waiting to take our first limit bet there. But yeah, Trump's a small favorite now. Check in next week, man. So it'll keep bouncing back and forth, I think.
Dave Mason joining us from BetOnline. And guys, as a Canadian, I had no problem signing up at BetOnline. Why? They have a killer Survivor contest going. Dave, tell us about that quick and anything else you need to promote.
Yeah, man, Survivor contest. We're already it was $300,000 guaranteed. We are at this one over 300. Last I checked a couple hours ago is over $372,000. There's no rate, so that all goes in the prize. Last year we had $421,000 in it. We'll easily surpass that this year without a doubt. It's only $30 to enter. You can enter numerous times. The more times you enter, there's discounts. So yeah, man, it's kind of a tough week one. I'm taking the Bengals without a doubt. That's going to be my Survivor pick. I'm not going to overthink this, man. I don't believe in that boohickey where everybody's going to be on. You worry about yourself and survive. It's hard enough to survive 18 weeks if you start overthinking it. That everybody's let that stuff work itself out over the season. I saw a best this morning. Somebody tweeted on there was that conversation on Twitter, and one guy responded, "This is like winning an 18-team money line parlay. What are you going to do? You're going to take your team, to win each week, So I'm taking the Bengals. It's a no-brainer for me."
Dave Mason, brother, cannot thank you enough for joining us every Thursday. Dave will be on. What a show, Teddy! And it's not over yet. Daniel's son, it's time for the daily presidential address. Hello, everyone. I'm Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media, owner of the Gold Sheet, Sports Memo, and WagerTalk. And I got 2 NFL totals to give out. We're going to start right off the bat with Carolina going into New Orleans. And let me just say this division is a mess. I think Atlanta will win this division. I actually personally bet Atlanta to win this division at -120. So there's a nugget for you. And I do like Carolina in this game at +4. However, with that said, my bet on this game is the under. Who is going to score in this game? Now, I know it was last year, but the Panthers ended up scoring 0 points 2 games in a row to end last season. They did not exactly revamp their offense. I consider their offense similar to what their offense was last year. Total crap. I don't know how we're going to get to 41.5. Now, I know the Panthers have to, their defense is god awful. I get that. The problem ultimately for the over-bettors is the New Orleans Saints have Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is prone to make massive mistakes. I think we're going to see an incredibly conservative offense from the New Orleans Saints. I think we're going to see it all year. I think we're going to see a heavy run game. I think we're going to see short outs, some slants. I don't think we're going to see the New Orleans Saints stretch the field much. Now, the New Orleans Saints, from a defensive perspective, top 10 D unit last year. So here we have a horrible Carolina Panthers offense against a really decent Saints defense. And we have a Saints offense that's going to play extremely conservative. This number is simply too high. I think both teams go into this game looking to avoid making mistakes. Take under the total. Before we get into the next game, and the next game is a client play, I want to remind you all, I got 6 bets for Sunday, 6. One of them's a 5% play. One of them's a 4% play. You guys can use the promo code PREZ10. That's PREZ10 to get $10 off my Sunday package. Let's go to the New England Patriots. Full disclosure, I'm looking to bet the under in New England every single game this year. They have a terrible offense. They have a rock-solid defense, a great secondary, and I think they will be the most conservative offense in the entire league. However, we're not going to play the under in this game because I don't like the number that low in a Cincinnati Bengals game. What we're going to do, we're going to take New England team total under 16.5. This is a team that, the way I look at this game, simply put, is if New England is going to move the chains, they're going to need all 3 downs to move the chains. That's going to eat the clock. And I think on defense, it's the same thing. I think New England's defense is good enough that Cincinnati is going to need 3 plays to move the chains, and that's going to eat the clock. The reason I like New England team total under at 16.5, last year, they averaged under 14 points a game. Now, I know they had QB troubles last year. Guess what? They got QB troubles this year, too. They have no wide receivers. Their running game is mediocre. They do have a decent offensive line, but I think we're going to see this team play a very similar style to last year and not put up more than 14, 15 points on average a game. That's it for the daily presidential address. Take New England team total under 16.5 and Carolina and New Orleans under 41.5. Thank you for watching. Teddy, I know I went a little bit over. Take us home.
Enjoy the games. Best of luck. We'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of WagerTalk Today.